Welcome to the PHL Playoff Preview. This is Tom, Commissioner of the PHL, GM of the Minnesota Wild. I'm here with my co-host.
Yeah, guys, it's Will from the Boston Bruins, general manager of the Boston Bruins, and we're glad for you guys to join us tonight for the podcast. We're going to be breaking down the Eastern Conference round first, then the Western Conference round, or quarterfinal round, I should say, for both sides. And then Tom and I have a little surprise for you all, and we hope that you stick around. Or if you really want to be like Joe or Jeff or any of you other knuckleheads and want to go to the end, feel free to do so, but you're going to be missing what we have to say about your shit team. So other than that, Tom, if you want to start us off between Philadelphia and New York and kind of give us a little breakdown, and we're good to go.
Yeah, so first matchup in the East, we got the number one seed Flyers against the second wild card Rangers. And it's an interesting matchup because you would think it would be one-sided. You think the Flyers would just be an unstoppable favorite. No chance for the Rangers. But when you look at the head-to-head, it tells a little different story because the Flyers have actually struggled against the Rangers.
The Rangers and the Rangers and Flyers played each other 5 times in the regular season. The Rangers did beat Philadelphia. They won that season. They won that season series by 3-2. Both teams, I don't think, have really made some crazy deals. Especially with Kyle, and after he won the Stanley Cup last year, and didn't really have to make a whole lot of moves. As the old saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it's just kind of interesting to see how Aaron's team. They have some guys on their team, like I think Taylor Hall is one of his bigger guys, and
he has Ryan Getzlaf, who's second in the PHL in goals, one of the best players in the league this year. He kind of went a little bit all in to compete this year. Not completely because he still has a lot of good young players. But acquiring David Backes from the Maple Leafs, remember that trade? He traded. Yes. I believe he acquired Seth Jones.
He did.
I don't remember what trade it was, but I know he acquired him, which paid off very well because Seth Jones had 47 points for him, was a plus 13. So, and pair that with Pietrangelo, and they have a very solid defense.
And even looking at the lines for New York, you got Kyle Okposo, who he's a good right winger. He can score goals, but even looking at what he did this year, he was kind of on the downturn. He had the 81 games, 17 goals, 15 assists, and was a -2. And you have guys like Victor Rask, Ricard Raquel, Oscar Clefbaum, who's a rookie, Charlie Coyle, and even Colin Wilson ahead of him in production. So I think for the Rangers, if they really want to click, Okposo could help. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them because they're a very top-heavy team.
Mm-hmm.
After the first line in the top pairing, it gets really thin. And your second pairing is Clefbaum and Hickey. It's tough. So I don't know if they're going to want to split up Pietrangelo and Jones or just keep them there. Or they have Getzlaf and Taylor Hall in the first line. Do they want to split those up or leave it as is? I don't know. If I were them, I'd probably just leave it as is and just hope that your top guys can carry you.
Right. And even if you look at Philadelphia's roster, you got Stamkos, Suter, Pacioretty, Bergeron, Weber, Kessel, Hoffman, who could be good in terms of scoring. Obviously, he'll probably get a nice re-rate next year. Stamkos and Suter. Suter had 86 points. I think. I could be wrong, but that might be top for defense and potential Norris candidate.
He was second to Erik Karlsson. So that's no slouch though. Man, the defending scoring was very high this year. I'm just noticing that now. But yeah, the Flyers are just absolutely stacked. I'm not on paper, it doesn't seem like the Rangers should have a chance, but
you never know.
You never know. The season series says otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely definitely the Flyers have the advantage. They have a much deeper team. They're defending champions. Kyle, he's the GM, right?
Yes, correct.
Kyle's experienced GM, just like Aaron. So, they're pretty even there as far as adjustments go. So, it's gonna be a good series. I think it's not gonna be a sweep. I definitely don't predict a sweep. The goaltending is, if you look at the numbers, it's pretty even.
Exactly.
The goaltending is good. Yeah, I would say I still would pick Philadelphia, even though the Rangers won the series. I'd probably pick them in 6 games.
I'm going to pick Philadelphia in 7.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, either way should be a close series.
Exactly. And then next we got Montreal and Florida. I think Montreal, and I don't have the standings in front of me, but I think they were the high. No, Florida was the higher seed, correct?
Let me actually, I think Florida was a wild card, but let me check.
Okay. Yes, yeah, they were wild card because Jeff was pumped that he made the playoffs last minute. So yeah, Rick goes in with the higher seed. I'll have home ice advantage in this series, and Jeff comes in. Both Florida and Montreal, they played each other 7 times, and Jeff actually won 5 of the 7 games. So I think a lot of that. I think there was some confusion, or not really. I don't really know what you want to call it, but Kerry Ramo, I think for Montreal, he played a majority. He played a lot more of the games, more than Crawford. I'm assuming that's because of the whole minutes.
Yeah, he was up against the minutes cap. Crawford actually got suspended for a large portion of the end of the year.
Yeah, so Crawford, he played 68 games, and Ramo, he actually played pretty well in the final 14 games, win 9-4 and won the 915 winning percentage, and had 4 shutouts. I don't know if that was split up or if that was just like in the final 14 games. But my guess is that he did play like the final 14 games and might have a little bit of a goalie controversy in Montreal.
I don't think so because Corey Crawford's probably going to win the Vezina in the PHL this year. I mean, he leads the PHL in save percentage and goals against. So he was definitely the best goalie in the league this year. So I expect him to win the Vezina, and it's crazy because, you look at Montreal's team, it's just like one of those teams every year that does well that no one really understands why they do well.
Exactly.
But somehow
you got Thomas Plekanec, 44 goals, tied for 6th in the NHL with Patrick Kane of the Blues with 44 goals, and he had 92 points, which is second among centers behind Ryan Getzlaf, who had 94 points in the regular season.
It's amazing, and he's a plus 39, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah,
he's like top 5 in the league in plus minus.
even after that, but after Plekanec, you got Jason Demers, the defenseman, second on the team in points at 68.
Yeah,
and then
it's just
even Jonathan Huberdeau, he's 62 points, but he had 30 goals. Ryan Strome, 23. Benoit Pouliot, of all people, with 22 goals, and then Gianta, I don't even know how he's still even in the league with 16. But after that, it's like Thomas Plekanec and then Huberdeau, but that's not saying much.
Yeah, his players just seem to outperform the ratings somehow. I don't understand how that happens, but
for some reason against Florida, he's had that trouble.
Yeah, and I think Florida is a better team.
Yeah.
I would expect Florida to win this series. But you never know with Montreal. I mean, they won the Cup a couple of years ago somehow. No one really knows how it happened, but they did.
Yeah, they won the Cup 2 years ago in 2014. So I think that's one of the first times. I mean, they won. I don't know what I was going with that, but yeah, it's. I don't know. I mean, even looking at Jeff's team, like he's done a lot of work, and he didn't really need to do much, but he wanted to put like his own mark on the league. And I mean, his team did win a Cup in 2013, and he took over for them last season because I think he did make the playoffs last year.
Yeah, I mean, he made a ton of trades. He wanted to make the team his own, which I understand that. He's got a solid team.
Yeah, like he got Stepan, and like just looking at like his top goal scorers. Yeah, Stepan with 34 goals, and Van Riemsdyk 28 goals, and it's actually in terms of goals, Van Riemsdyk and Stepan have 20 plus goals, That's it. Then the next one is Oliver Ekman-Larsson and defenseman. Then it's like an offense. He doesn't really have much to work with. I mean, he just barely snuck into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think I might go back on what I said about Florida winning this series because I'm not seeing how they're going to score. I mean, Montreal is the best defensive team in the league. They're the best goalie. I don't know who's going to score for them. If it's not Stepan or Van Riemsdyk, then they're in big trouble because the rest of the team is pretty bad as far as goal scoring goes.
I mean, even looking at like Florida's overall record, I mean, you can go opponent by opponent, but Jeff finished at 46, 28, and 8. Compared to Montreal obviously had a better record. I mean, he was 56, 23, and 3. I mean, I just don't. I mean,
the goal differential is very high too.
Yeah.
Between them, it's Montreal has 53 goal advantage on them for differential. But you never know. But I don't know. For this one, I'm probably going to take Montreal, even though I said I expect Florida to win a second ago after analyzing a little more.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to take Montreal in 5.
I'm going to say Florida in 6. I have faith in Jeff. I mean, he's trying to run the team, and Recky's a good GM too. Plus, I hate Montreal, so that's probably a little bit of it too.
All right.
So we got the Islanders in Pittsburgh.
Yes, this should be the most competitive series. Well, you know what? I don't know. It's gonna be a great series.
Yeah, it'll be a great series. I mean, you have Joe, who turned his team around a lot, and no one really likes to trade with him after all the things he's done. But he's been a lot quieter this year, mainly because he has like 12, probably the best youngest forwards in the NHL, or you know what I mean.
He just keeps it cranking out with all the young players that he has. He keeps trading in those guys for younger guys.
I mean, look at that nonsense. Like Kessler, Pavelski, Backstrom, Johansson, Duchesne, Henry, Kuznetsov, Palat, Forsberg, Kucherov, Tatar, Callahan, Duncan Keith, Eric Johnson, Justin Falk.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the youth though, with like the core of like Ryan Johansson, Philip Forsberg, Andre Palat,
Braden Holtby,
Nikita Kucherov, who I love. Kucherov. I drafted Kucherov. I just want to put that out there. I drafted him. I knew he was going to be great, but I had to make a trade to
what did you get in that trade anyway?
I don't remember. Who did I trade for? Who did I trade? It was good. I can get because I also traded him. Did I trade him Tatar too? Because I drafted Tatar as well. I don't know. These trades happened so long, like at the beginning of the season. Oh, it might have been Ryan O'Reilly or TJ.
Yeah, I think it was. You did have him.
Which, if that was a trade, then I feel pretty good because O'Reilly was very good. So. Although Kucherov's a star, he's a stud. I love him. I love watching him play. Even though it hurts that I traded him, he's awesome. He's just one of those clutch players that scores great, goals in the playoffs. And but anyway.
All right. So Pittsburgh, they won the season series against the Islanders, 3-2. I mean, both teams, especially Pittsburgh, I don't really think he made a lot of moves in terms of trades, claims, anything like that.
No, it's been the GM has been kind of changing quite a bit in the past year, so they haven't had stable ownership.
And I think Joe, he made a lot of his moves prior to the season. Nothing really happened at the deadline as much. I think I'm with you. I think the series will be close. Even looking at like the scoring for the Islanders, Joe Pavelski, 42 and 42 between goals and assists, 84 points, and then, I don't even know why that's actually out of order. Then you got like Duncan Keith, Philip Forsberg, Ryan Johansson, Kessler, Backstrom, Callahan. They all have 50 more points.
Right. Yeah, and I wonder. And looking at,
he has 9 goal scorers. Actually, no. No, he doesn't. I don't even.
The Islanders.
The way it broke it up. Yeah. I don't know why.
They're extremely deep team.
They remind me of the Flyers.
Yes. I kind of expect those two teams to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. Because, I mean, Pittsburgh, they're good, but
Mm-hmm.
after, they got Crosby, Evander Kane, this will probably be the last year that he's useful in this league. Um, you know,
Same with James Wisniewski. I mean, I don't really know how well he did this year.
yeah.
Kevin BX, Matt Molson, Marek Ziblicki.
It's too bad that Pittsburgh wasn't run by, a competent GM because I think that they would have traded off a lot of these pieces and tried to
It
build
probably would have
towards
been
the
like a
future.
rebuild, yeah.
BX and people like that. Yeah, there's just not much there.
I mean, even goalie like Jimmy Howard, like, I mean, he's good, but I'm not really sold on him, to be
He's not like a
honest.
franchise goalie. He's not a guy that you want to build your team
Right.
around.
Although, I mean, even looking at like the numbers, he was fifth in the league, or tied for fourth rather, in save percentage with 914 save percentage, and I think goals against average is not on top 10. He
Yeah,
faced,
he had a decent year as for a
he
goalie. I
did,
mean,
he did,
average, I would say, for the league.
yeah, 38 wins. I mean, I'll take that.
I don't know. There's just too much coming from the Islanders
Mm-hmm.
that I don't expect them to lose in this round. I mean, their defense is stacked too. I mean, Tyson Berry on the third pairing. Cam Fowler is one of your second pairing defensemen. Like, it's just filthy.
Exactly.
It speaks for itself, really. Like down the middle.
I'm trying to like find like the power play percentage for all these teams, but I don't even think it shows me on like this new site.
Yeah, if you go to the index, then you go to is it Pro Team and Stats? Yes, Pro Team and Stats, and you can get all the team stats.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we should have been looking at that stuff, special teams.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, folks, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
we only had 2 days to do this, so
We did all this shit today. I spent this entire, or not the entire day doing this whole graphic thing, but
our opinions are still valid though. But anyway, while you look at that stuff, take a look at some of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, look at the Islanders down the middle: Pavelski, Kessler, Duchesne, and Henrique. I don't think you're going to find a better center core than that. And to me, that's where you build your team from. At least that's how I built my team, is from the center position. The wings are just, you have Nicholas Backstrom as a right wing. It's just ridiculous. Kucherov and Tatar on the third line. Like, just every line can score. And next year they're just going to get better and better. And I don't see any way to stop them from just becoming a dynasty in this league, or at least a team that's going to compete for the Eastern Conference championship every year.
right.
So yeah, I mean, I would expect the Islanders to win in, I don't know. I want to pick 4 games, but I'm going to say 5 games.
Islanders from 4.
Damn, son.
Yeah.
Picking a sweep.
Gotta go with the red-handed motherfucker. All right, then last Eastern Conference matchup. 2 GMs that are active and that have both been around for a while.
The grudge match.
Yeah, the grudge match, and you got Ottawa, owned by Scott, and then you got Chris, who runs Tampa Bay, running a Tampa Bay show. Ottawa did win that season series 3-2, but I think both these teams are quiet in the offseason in terms of moves. I don't think. I mean, it's kind of a quiet season in terms of trades anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But let's pull up Ottawa's roster, see what they got.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty even matchup here. I think these teams played each other last year too in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they did. I don't know what.
I believe Ottawa won.
Yeah, Chris always gets the shit end of the stick.
I know. I feel bad for him.
Yeah,
Chris, if you're listening, I love you, man. I feel bad for you.
I mean, there's similar teams. I mean, that center line for Ottawa. I mean,
Tyler Seguin, man, that's.
He got Seguin on the right wing though, which makes sense because he's kind of weak on the wing. Although I'm kind of surprised when Brad Marchand's on that first or even second line. He's got Gabbert at center. I mean, I'm assuming like these lines aren't really
It could be
made.
auto. It could be auto
Yeah.
lines. That's what I'm kind of assuming.
I mean, but you got like Spooner, Couture, Krejci, and Sig, and first off the Bruins understand trade Sig, and that's a different story for a different day. But yeah, like I mean, his centers kind of remind me of Joe's, but obviously Joe's are a little bit more centerish. But yeah, I mean, he's deep down the middle. I mean, between like Krejci, Couture, Sagan, and Spooner. Mainly Spooner on that fourth line. Let's see what else. I like Chris's team though. His defense is just like phenomenal.
Yeah, I like Chris's team too. He has more of the star power on his team. That was Subban, Letang, Tavares. I think those guys are going to make the difference for him. The goaltending is pretty much the same, I would say. Although I guess a slight edge to Niemi. He's had the best season out of any of them. I wonder if Chris would switch goalies. I'm assuming he's going to start with Mason, and then if Mason starts doing faltering, then he'll switch to Lack. So it's pretty similar on the goaltending. Let's see what the special teams looks like.
I can't even find that shit. Special teams. So it's on stats.
Yeah. So if you go to the index page, go to Pro Team, and then stats. So Ottawa has the second best power play in the league right now.
Okay.
Tampa Bay's PK in the middle of the road. Tampa Bay power play 20th, not that great. Ottawa PK 5th overall. So Ottawa definitely had, actually, if you can do the power play plus PK, the Senators were number 1 in the league in special teams. So that could be a big difference for them because Tampa Bay special teams is towards the bottom half of the league. That could be their undoing if they don't figure out a way to mitigate that.
Even looking at like Tampa Bay, they average of almost 6 minutes per game, penalty wise, which is 19th in the league in terms of like most penalty minutes.
That's pretty far down. So it could hurt them because Ottawa doesn't take many penalties. They're top 5, so it's going to be a big deal for Tampa Bay. They really have to try to play discipline.
And neither team's really physical either. I mean, like comparing them to like obviously Greg's team who averages like almost 23 hits a game. Not a shock. I don't even know how he made the playoffs, which we'll get to. Then you got Tampa. They averaged. We were talking hits.
Yeah,
like
Ottawa's at the bottom of the league in hits.
Yeah, and Tampa's close to them. Yeah,
Tampa's down there. So I don't know. It's kind of tilting me a little bit towards Ottawa because of that special teams advantage. Even though I kind of like Tampa Bay's team better. I'm
gonna go with Tampa Bay in 7. I think it's gonna be a battle. I mean, I kind of almost wish this was like the second round or even the conference finals matchup. But
yeah, I think I'm gonna go 7 games too, but I'm gonna go with Ottawa because of that special teams advantage. But it's gonna be very close, and loser has to leave the PHL forever, banished. I'm gonna ban your IP, so don't lose.
Loser has to trade Will Tyler Sagan, aka Scott. So you're gonna lose Scott, and you're gonna trade me Tyler Sagan for. I'm not gonna give you Connor McDavid. I'd rather have him.
Give me like a 3rd round pick.
I'll give you a 3rd round pick. I mean, that's not lopsided or anything. So
no.
All right, so we'll go to the West.
Switch over to the Western Conference.
We got the first matchup we'll discuss is Tom's Minnesota Wild against whoever. I don't even know the GM for the Blues. I think it's
Kyle.
Is it the same Kyle that's been here?
Yes, it is.
Oh, awesome. Well, I have not seen you around, Kyle, but glad you're still here. But yeah, I'm also glad that I'm not in your conference anymore. But yeah, I think the Wild, out of 8, they play the Blues 8 times, and the Wild did win that season series, 5 games to 3. And Tom, if you kind of want to take the leagues, I mean, it's your team, and
Sure. Yeah, well, this is interesting. It's an interesting matchup. I actually kind of a little nervous about this matchup because the Blues are good. They have a very good roster. And, I expect Kyle will be submitting lines for the playoffs, which he probably hasn't been doing for the regular season. Down the middle, they're pretty solid. I mean, Ribeiro, Nugent Hopkins, Eliash, they're top three. I mean, I feel like mine is quite better with Taves, Giroux, and O'Reilly.
it does look like he has submitted lines. Just a heads up. I mean, just looking at his team.
Oh, yeah, he has. Yes.
Yeah.
Looks like it. So, yeah, his team is very good. I mean, they're old, so he doesn't have much of a window left. I feel like his team has been relatively the same for the past, 5 years.
I mean,
Kane, Ribeiro. I feel like those guys have been there forever. But
he also has Nugent Hopkins,
Patrick Sharp,
Nathan McKinnon, Patrick Kane, Valerie Nichushkin, Andre Burakovsky, Ryan Murphy, who I think he's decent. But yeah, I mean, they are old, but he does have some.
Yeah, like Patrick Kane is is the crown jewel of the team for sure.
Yeah.
One of the top right wings in the league, 100 points. Yeah, you definitely have to worry about him. But I think that my team, the Wild were a little. I have a lot of guys with good defensive ratings. I try to get a lot of guys that play two-way games. So
Okay.
I think I can really kind of limit his top guys, because outside of Kane, I guess he has a couple of 30-goal scorers. Yeah, it's hard for me to judge my own team because I just love it so much. So
Yeah, and even looking at like the power play percentage, like you were, like Minnesota was, fuck, what did Minnesota name? 11th in the league with 20%, 20.5% on the power play. St. Louis, they're actually at the bottom of the league, which surprises me with guys like Kane, McKinnon, Nugent Hopkins. They're 29th in the league with 12.3%. And even on the penalty kill, the Blues were like 16th in the league at 81%, and the Wild 23%. So
both of our special teams not very good.
Yeah.
His was among the worst, but mine was just middle of the road. But I think with the shoot, if you look at the shots, though, my team does a very good job at generating shots and limiting shots. I think that's going to come into play. I don't know.
Face-off percentage, like you were the top team in the league in face-off percentage of 56%, and that's gonna. I mean, he was at 51%, which I think that. I mean, I feel like the numbers might be skewed. I mean, because I don't know if the numbers factor in like wingers who take a face-off and they win one face-off, and if that number's factored into this, my guess is yes. But I mean, you are pretty deep at center.
Yeah, Claude Giroux led the league in face-off percentage at 60%, and then I had Taves at 7th with 58%. So
yes, I have Marlowe and O'Reilly, which also helps.
Right, so you have to get kicked out. Then I have other guys that can take face-offs. Let me take a look at their defense. So they have like a couple of defensive defensemen. Strawman's a little like more all-around type guy, but it gets a little thin after that. I feel like the guys that I have make my defense a little deeper. Between Cronwall and Markov and Boschman and Tootin, and Tootin had a bad year in the NHL, but he's rated very well this year. Sekera, Brewer, I like all of my defensemen. I think my team is deeper. I mean, I can go 3 or 4 lines deep scoring. With guys like Louis Eriksson and Thomas Vanek on my third line with Ryan O'Reilly. I don't know. I just expect to win, but of course I'm biased.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Minnesota and
Oh, one more
so
thing. And Corey
yeah,
Schneider had a great year this year, and Ryan Miller did not. He had a very bad year. His
of course he
percentage is
did.
below 900.
Of course he did. Yeah, I'm gonna go Minnesota in 7.
Okay, of course I'll pick myself in 6 games.
The next matchup, let me pull up both Chicago and Winnipeg. One thing I like about Chicago, what's the dude's name again? Andrew. Yeah, Andrew.
Yes.
Yeah, Andrew. He kind of had a bottom team, and he's built that from what I can recall, right?
Yes, he built that from the ashes.
Jesus,
Of
props, man.
He's done a great job. He's done a great job building that team, and they have a great future.
All right, so we'll break down Chicago and Winnipeg. I mean, just looking at the roster, like in terms of forwards, I almost want to say I want to give it to Chicago just because you have Tyler Johnson, Joe Thornton, Henrik Sedin, Zach Parise, they're both Sedin brothers, Jeff Carter, Corey Perry, Paul Stastny, and then their defense is just out of this world. And I still kick myself in the ass for dropping Ryan McDonough in 2008. Like, whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I like Chicago's forwards a lot better. I think I like their whole team better than Winnipeg.
Although with Winnipeg though, like you got Brian Little and Blake Wheeler, like Little with 38 goals, Wheeler with 43, and Wheeler
Yeah, Drew
he had
Doughty.
8 yeah.
Drew Doughty, Shattenkirk, Stewart. I mean, they're no pushover for
They're
sure.
not. They're not. And
But then
Winnipeg actually won that season series 5-1 out of 6 games. So
really, wow,
yeah.
that's surprising to me. I mean, because you look at then you look at Chicago's defensive core, and it's
Mm-hmm.
very good as well. And I would argue that it's deeper than Winnipeg's.
Yeah, and even like just like looking at like their games, like it was one lopsided victory for Chicago. Like their only win, like it was like the second to last game of the year. They beat Winnipeg 5-1. Then the Jets beat Chicago one game 4-2. Then 3-1. Then 4-3. And then 2-1. So I mean they've had some close games, and I think this is a hidden matchup of the West. I would say in terms of like a good matchup.
Yeah, it's a bit underrated, probably.
Yeah, I think it might be like the second best matchup behind the Wild and Blues.
Yeah, Chicago. I put them in the top tier of the Western teams. They could have easily finished second. They were up there for a while. It was between San Jose, Minnesota, Calgary, Chicago. They were all trading places towards the last month of the season. So I have great respect for Chicago. I would expect them to come out on top here.
Even looking at like their special teams, like their power play percentage, like Winnipeg's 9th and Chicago is 10th. Then on the PK, Winnipeg is 17th and Chicago they're 8th. So that could the penalty killing like the power like the special teams could play a factor for both teams. I mean Chicago like their penalty kill like with that defense is out of this world, but Winnipeg I'm kind of surprised hasn't really done a better job at that.
Yeah, and Chicago doesn't take many penalties too.
True.
So
They never do in the NHL either way.
that's true. Yeah, let's see what else we got here. The goaltending matchup, we got Luongo for Chicago, and then we have Fleury for Winnipeg. It's pretty even. Their numbers are pretty even. I don't really see a clear advantage for anybody there.
I mean, their defense is similar though. Like just looking who they got, like that's going to be interesting. That's what I'm most excited to watch.
It is, yeah. If it's pretty even. I like Chicago a little better, but yeah, if you go like player by player, it's very comparable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just like Chicago's their forwards. I think the forwards are going to make the difference.
They will
For Chicago, and Winnipeg, just not deep enough, I don't think, to get them out of this matchup. So I don't know. I'm going to go with Chicago in 6 games.
I'm going to go with Winnipeg in 6. So the next one, we got the Sharks and Avalanche. I think Greg was one of the wild card teams. I think he was the first wild card team. Or either way, it was one of the wild card teams. And I think, I don't even know when the last time Greg made the playoffs, and he's kind of been MIA this season, but he made an appearance today after he found out that the Biliconche, or whatever the hell it calls, it's in the playoffs.
Yeah, I messaged him today to let him know he was in the playoffs because he doesn't check in very often, but he's such an icon of the PHL. I hate to just kick him out,
Yeah, I think he's been here for a while.
He's kind of our mascot, I would say.
Right.
His team has been just a joke since the beginning. Always leading the league and hit. They're like I don't know. Like he might as well have the Hanson brothers on his team.
He probably has them somewhere. They probably bought it after. They probably bought the team after winning Lottery of America. Slap shot reference if anyone cares. But yeah, San Jose. They won the season series 6-1. I think that Jimmy. He's kind of an MIA too. I think you mentioned he checks the site every now and again, but he's put a good team together.
He sends in lines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he's around. He's obviously people aren't around as much as they used to be, but
he's old. The team's old. They're very old.
Team's very old. Yes, St. Louis this is last year.
Mm-hmm.
Rick Nash, he's fading. The Rangers want to trade him. Datsuk, he's talking about playing in Russia. Zdeno Chara is
get him off Boston, please.
A pylon at this point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. This could be Sharks' last great chance.
You got Jamie Benn, the only 50 goal scorer in the league, and he won the Hart. No, not the Hart. What the fuck's he?
Rocket Richard.
Rocket Richard. Yeah. He's won that. So
Jamie Benn, outstanding year.
Exactly, a very out of this world.
Top choice for MVP, and probably will win the MVP. We'll see. There's a lot of different candidates. But
don't forget to send in your votes, folks.
Right.
Otherwise, Chris will have a heart attack.
Yes, definitely send in your votes, please. We'd like to have full participation. But anyway, yes, Jamie Benn. He's had a great year, but they also have, all these guys behind him that can score goals and can score points, and it doesn't just stop with Jamie Benn. Rick Nash, Mike Fisher, Mark Stone, those guys all scored at least 30 goals. And then they got a couple 70-point guys on the blue line. Charo, 64 points, the plus minus through the roof for all these guys.
What you can do there, Joe?
And a solid third line too with Helm and Saad and St. Louis.
Mm-hmm. And even the power play percentage for both teams, San Jose at 5, they're 5th in the league. Colorado's 15th, and on the penalty kill, both are San Jose's 11th and Colorado's 12th. Surprisingly, just looking at Colorado's goal scorers. Todd Bozak, out of all people, with 40 goals, and
there's just not much there. There's really no way that Colorado is winning this series. There's just no way. They're negative 21 goal differential.
If they win this series, and I quit sim hockey for God's sake.
There's teams not in the playoffs that are 20 goals ahead of them in goal differential. So I don't know. I expect them to get demolished. I would be shocked if the San Jose loses a game. But again, this is the sim. Anything can happen.
He even snuck in, they snuck in ahead of Arizona. Granted, their team's nothing special either, but I think they're a little bit better in terms of.
Yeah, I would say Arizona does have a better roster.
Yeah, they do slightly, but
slightly.
Although Tarasenko, he sticks. I didn't even know they had Tarasenko and Drouin and Landeskog too.
So yeah, Colorado's only chance is that they just hit the crap out of San Jose and wear them out or something.
Maybe some injuries will actually happen.
Yeah, that's pretty much their only chance.
I'm gonna go Sharks in 4.
Yeah, I would say I'm gonna say Sharks in 5 just because the sim's weird and they're gonna Colorado will probably win one game.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
All right, let's get to our last matchup. This one is interesting. I mean, we got a new GM in LA, who Cruz or whoever the hell he is. He's new GM. He's been kind of active. He's actually been very active. I kind of feel like he's kind of confused in terms of sim hockey, like how the ratings work. That's a whole different story for a different day. But hey, he made the playoffs, and I think we're all proud. Or I'm happy that he's there because he was active throughout the year. One of the very few active GMs, and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah, it's good to see someone that's active get rewarded and getting into the playoffs. Unfortunately, they have to play the Flames in the first round.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, Flames powerhouse team. Another one of those teams like similar to the Islanders where they're just stacked and they have more coming on the way.
They're the Western Conference version of the Islanders.
Yeah. You know, I don't even know how to make a case for LA, to be honest with you. I don't really see how they could win this series.
Oh, well, the season series, I'm just doing some, keep talking. I'm just doing some quick calculations.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just looking at the goalies right now. And let's see, the LA has Yaroslav Halak. And Calgary's, I think, is going to go with Bobrovsky. Let me check. Oh, well, no, they have Kari Lehtinen. Actually, you know what? The goalies have been kind of an issue for Calgary this year, it looks like, because Kari Lehtinen's numbers are very subpar. Bobrovsky's are, you know, maybe around a little worse than league average, I would say. So that could be an issue for them. Maybe not against LA, but in the next round when they probably play San Jose, that's going to be a big issue. I mean, Calgary, but, you know, they're going to score a crap load of goals.
They will.
Let's see, I think they were around the tops in leagues in goals. I think they were just behind the Sharks. Yeah. So they're second in the league in goals. A lot of that is because they have Evgeny Malkin and Alex Ovechkin. You know, Malkin with like 45. I think that's puts him in the top 10 in goals in the league. You know, Ovechkin with 37. You know, then they have Kopitar. They have Carlson, who was the highest scoring defenseman in the league. They have Voracek, who he's like the best scorer on the Flyers. He's a beast. Spets, you know, just goes down the line here. Like Dustin Brown on the third line, Hartnell on the third line. That's like kind of a scrappy scrappy scoring third line there. The defense is good. It's deep. You know, Carlson scoring 90 points from the blue line. That's like such a huge boost for your team to get that amount of scoring from the blue line.
And I have the season series. Both teams they played each other 8 times. Each team has won 4 games. The Kings have won 2 of their 4 wins have both come in the shootout. And all the games have been close. So like one of the Kings regulation wins, for example, was the second game of the season. They won 1-0. The second game, Calgary won that game 7-6. And then, like, I mean, they actually played in for their games like in the early half of the season. There's only been like 1 blowout, and that actually went to the LA. They actually won that game in the final game of the regular season, 6-2 over Calgary. So that's
interesting.
I mean, I'm curious. I mean, it's
LA is not a bad team. They're definitely not the worst team in the playoffs. I'd take them over a couple other teams.
I pick them over Colorado. Sorry, Greg. And another fun fact: both teams are top 5 in the league on the power play. Flames at 24%. They're number 1 in the team, or number 1 in the league. And the Kings, they are 3rd in the league with 24.52% on the power play. So that's going to be key. And the Kings, they also have they're actually 7th on the pound to kill, while Calgary's 6th. So we might have a David versus Goliath matchup, I think, and I think this could go 6 or 7.
I don't think it's going to go 7, maybe 6. I could see that.
Like
Yeah,
if I felt like it's. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
well, yeah, I like the season series was 4-4, but I would take out those two shootout victories.
Yeah.
And if you look at it 4-2, that's probably what this series will be.
Mm-hmm.
I think Calgary will probably win 4-2, unless Monahan and Gallagher pick it up and just go crazy. But
Don't forget Jordan Eberle too.
Jordan Eberle, that's right. Yeah. I
Mm.
mean, I guess if Calgary has some goaltending issues, then it's possible. But I'm still gonna pick Calgary in 6.
And even looking at like the Kings defense, like they're old. I mean, well, not really. I shouldn't say old. I mean, I think the only old guy they have is like Robin Regeer and Andre Mazzaros and even
Tim
Tim
Gleason.
Gleason,
Yeah.
but like they're rated pretty well for defense, and I mean, you
Yeah,
got
they have solid defensive ratings.
they do. And,
Myers and friends have decent passing ratings as well. So
mhm.
yeah, that's why I think they could win 2 games because they're not bad. Not a bad team. Just not as good as Calgary.
God no, like oh God. So I'm gonna go Calgary in 7.
7. All right. So you're expecting a close series.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
right.
my luck, they'll sweep. They'll sweep LA.
All right. Cool.
All right. So should we tell the folks? Do you want to do it, or you want me to do it?
So yeah, it's interesting. So let's see what we got here. Let me just drag this on the screen. See if you can figure out what this is. Oh
So
wow.
folks, we wanted to do this. I was literally taking a shit earlier tonight, and I'm like, hey, why don't we do the draft lottery? I mean, there's really nothing. I mean, no reason why we shouldn't. I mean, a lot of teams, especially in the NHL, they did it when Pittsburgh and New York played each other in Game 2. So that's when they did the lottery that day. And I mean, kind of want to get things going and maybe even start potential trade talk between the participating teams if anything happens. So, Tom, if you want to explain the whole thing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Just a little surprise for everybody. I thought it would be cool to do because no one is expecting the draft lottery to be done now. And if you were cool
This is
enough
gonna
to
save, correct? This is gonna save. Like we won't have to redo this entire fucking thing again, right?
yeah, well, it's recorded. So
Thank God. Thank God.
can you just bring up the percentages though for me?
Fuck! I closed the thing.
Just want to make sure that I got the percentages right before we do this. So
I closed it.
other leagues have used this method. The bar down, is that who it is? Bar down.
Yeah, I used what we did for anyone in Bar Down, run by Joe and Kyle. We ran it based off of like they did the sim like 3 times. So like because you only have to do the lottery, I think. Well, if I'm describing it correctly, correct me if I'm wrong. We did the lottery 3 times for the top 3 picks. And after like I think like just like looking at Joe's like what he did the lottery. Yeah, I can't speak to them already. 30, yeah.
Just look it up online, and you don't have to put it on the just so I have it on the screen so I can see it. I just want to make sure I have the correct percentages. So basically, these are just these balls represent the percentage out of 1,000. So 20%, 200 balls, 13.5,
So,
135.
so it's up on the screen just from what
Okay.
OG did, what OGSHL did. So ignore the teams. The 20%, that's what 20 balls or 200 balls,
Yeah. Yep.
and then 130, and then 13.5 is 135.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, you're just basically adding 100 and then 11.5, 115, and so on and so forth.
95, 85, 75, 65, 60, 50, 35, 30, 25 to, okay, so yeah, we're good.
And folks, just so you know, in Vancouver, if you're watching, there was a tiebreaker between Boston, which is myself, and Vancouver. We both had the same record, same points. What Tom and I did, we just did like the regulation win. So, I'm actually kind of wondering if we should even check that since we didn't know that stats page existed. Do you think we should check it or just go with our gut?
Oh, no, we checked the regulation wins.
Okay. All right. So
regulation overtime wins. And you
Okay.
had more, so Vancouver got 5 more balls.
yeah, whatever. Some balls.
So remember, this is the first year that the new draft order or whatever draft lottery thing is being implemented, where the top three teams are the three teams that win the lottery. So we run the lottery 3 times. The first team to win the lottery gets the first pick. Second team gets the second pick. Third team gets the third pick. And that's basically how they do it now. So the number 1 overall person could drop as far as 4th. So it's not guaranteed that you're going to get a top pick just because you were terrible.
Just so you all know, when we were doing this, we went through all the teams to make sure that they had the right picks. And there was only one trade, and that was Chris from what he did last year, and that was traded to Nashville. So Nashville has 2 chances. He has the second overall pick, or he has the second best odds and the 14th best odds.
So if for some reason this screws up or whatever, then we'll just scrap it, and I'll try to do it again. But it should be fine. If I do it wrong, if something screws up, we'll redo it. So don't freak out, anybody. I just want to say that before we start.
And that has to be the random draw. For draw 1, that has to be random draw, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I believe.
I'm fucking nervous now. God, if I win the first pick, I'm gonna fucking scream.
All right, so here we go. We're gonna see who gets the first overall pick, who gets to draft Great American Hope, Austin Matthews. Boom. Oh, ooh. Nashville. Okay.
So he jumped up. He jumped up from, I think, the second. Yeah, he did, because he was second. Nashville was second, and Columbus was first.
Yes, correct. So Nashville gets the first overall pick. Hey, put this on a notepad or something for me.
Okay, yeah. So Nashville gets the first overall pick at the second best odds, and it's ironic enough because he actually just made an appearance today, and he won the lottery. And I think it was kind of what happened last year when we switched teams, and I won the lottery when he was Boston, and he still had a decent pick last year, but the fact that he gets a shot at Austin Matthews, that's pretty good. That's very good. So he jumps up to.
So he jumps up to first.
Okay.
Yeah, just write down the winners. It doesn't really matter to put it in order, I guess.
Okay. So Nashville with 1.
Okay, so now I remove Nashville.
Well, do we have to do like the bottom part too? Like we're no.
What do you mean?
Never mind. I'm confusing myself. Never mind.
So yeah, I just removed the Nashville. See, so Nashville has 2 first-round picks.
Okay.
They have Carolinas. So I moved Nashville to where his old spot was, but I only give him 10 balls.
10 balls, yeah.
Right. So I removed the other one. Everyone's got a little bit better chance to win, and we'll see who drafts second now.
Come on, number 2.
Oh, New Jersey.
Ooh, here we go, Ron.
New Jersey. Okay. Wow. Columbus is not happy right now.
That's what you get for tanking.
I'm sorry, man. This is just that's what the PHL wants.
Oh.
So
he hasn't even been around, has he, Columbus? Has he been around? I haven't seen him on.
All right. So, third one. You ready?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready.
Boom. There you go.
Christ.
Yeah, too bad they didn't hit a couple things ago, huh?
There we go. It would have been nice, but fuck, now I have to psych myself out, so boom.
That's pretty good, man. From 8th to 3rd, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I had the number 1 pick last year, so now I gotta fucking do a mock draft and see who the fuck.
I know Joel's not gonna be happy because he does not like this new draft order or the new draft method.
Yeah.
That's just how it is,
fuck.
man. Sorry.
Well, hopefully we didn't do it wrong. I mean, fucking hey.
No, if someone thinks we did it wrong, then let me know. But I don't think we did. I think that's pretty. We did the right way. So.
Yeah, we went by Bar Down and OGSHO, both leagues that Joe and Kyle run. They did the new method that the NHL did, where you do the lottery for the top 3 picks, and we watched the video and followed what Joe was doing with the balls and all that.
And this is how we did it last year too, actually, with the same site, and we used this site.
Yeah, we used the same set, but it was a different method though. It wasn't like the same like.
Well, we
We
used
just
the balls. We used the balls thing because you could.
well, yeah, we used the balls, but we didn't have to like resim it like 3 times. So we could
No, you
talk
just do it one. We just did it
Yeah.
one time.
And I jumped in from fifth and I fucking lost my shit after I got McDavid. But, yeah, so
That's right. Okay, so there you go. So the top 3 teams, you write down.
yeah, I got Nashville at number 1, New Jersey at number 2, Boston at number 3, and then I think just Columbus at 4, and then Anaheim at 5. No, yes.
Yep. Then Anaheim, then Edmonton, Dallas, Vancouver.
Do you want me to write that
Boston.
down too?
Oh, not Boston. Just
Yeah.
might as well just write it down just so we have it. But it's
Nashville,
recorded
New
here.
Jersey, Boston, Columbus, Anaheim,
Yep. Edmonton, Dallas.
or Buffalo, Edmonton, Dallas.
Oh, not Buffalo. They only have 20 balls, so they're towards the end.
Okay.
I just put them there
Alright,
because yeah.
so Columbus, Anaheim. Who's after Anaheim? Dallas.
Edmonton,
Edmonton, okay. And Dallas.
Dallas, Vancouver, Toronto, Arizona, Washington, Detroit, Buffalo, Nashville.
Via Carolina.
Right.
All right.
All right. So yeah, I think we're
that's it. And again, let us know if we made any mix-ups on the lottery. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But hopefully it should be right. It's right.
Yeah.
I'm confident it's correct.
Yeah, I am
But
too.
yeah.
I'm fucking pumped now. So
Yeah, there you go. Third overall pick. Congratulations. So
I'll take that.
remember, tomorrow starts the playoffs, so get your lines in if you see this before or any time after. Yeah, we're just trying to add some more to the league with this podcast type deal. Maybe we'll do more for the second round, or I don't know if we'll have time for that, but definitely for the draft, we'll probably do something maybe like a mock draft or a draft preview. Something like that, I think. I think that would be fun. At least just the first round. I don't know, or like a draft, or maybe like a draft review. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah,
Maybe.
draft review, and maybe we can even do another podcast on like the second round, so we'll actually have a better idea as to what happened. And
maybe after a couple like big trades happen, which usually happen once, because trading's going to open, after the draft. We do a podcast like recapping some trades or something. So
I think, or doesn't the trading open on like before the draft if people want to trade picks, or it opens at the draft technically?
I believe it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. I just see what we did last year. That's what I usually do. I just see what we did last year and go with that. So
fuck. Yeah, definitely make sure this uploads. So otherwise we are fucked, and no one's gonna believe us, and I'm gonna be pissed. So.
It's fine. It's recording. It says it's recording locally, so we're good. But anyway, let's end this here. But everyone, thanks for listening. If you listened this long, I appreciate it. I appreciate you all sticking with the PHL. We're gonna make the PHL great again.
Don't be like Trump.
And we're gonna have a good time. And I thank everyone for their efforts. Trying to make, for caring, for wanting to make the PHL fun, for, staying in the league for almost 10 years now. I've grown up with this league since I was like 18. Now I'm like married, have a house and everything, like going to be 30 in a couple of years. So it's crazy. Appreciate you all. And I will see you next time.
See you guys. Have a good night.